There are no questions, I entertain a motion to approve. Okay, yes, is there a second? Second, all in favor? Opposed? Financial report.
And that CD, I think you'll go over that. Yes, it should have, we didn't really have to. Okay, because, on the last statement, that we done anything, but it was. Yeah, it was gonna be, I think we're missing one, right, May 26th. Yes. So here we go. If you have any questions about this page, the page is the thing we're going to talk about.
Any questions on that? Any motion to approve that also? Any motion to approve? Motion to also. All right, on seconds, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so if you will skip to the page that looks like bank statements, these are from January 1st of 2026, which in truth is really December of 2025, because we won't get them until the first. So I have been tracking and noting for quite a few months exactly what all is going on with our food costs, our wages, all the miscellaneous things that we have to pay for in nutrition. And we are using up faster than I like the beginning balance that we started with in December of 2025, or January of 2025, excuse me. And if you look on the last page of these bank statements, I have added up the total of what we've lost in the last 5 months. No, it's not a loss because we've got money there, but we're using it up, and I don't like how fast we're using it. So December to May, the bills outweighed the income by $55,754.26. If you average that out over 5 months, that's $11,150.97. My concern is that we are obviously not getting the amount of money that we thought we were going to be getting. The numbers of people that are eating here and taking their frozen and our pickups and all that stuff is diminished. And then you add in the exorbitant cost of food right now. And those two things right there are a big draw against us. Now, having said all that, let's hop over to the levy limit. When I came on in March, it was discussed during that board meeting what to do about the levy money. And out of the account that's called levy and donation checking, Emmons County was paid $15,000 and $45,000 and some odd bucks. And so this that you're looking at right here is exactly what we've been doing since January of 25, and this is all the levies that have come into us. I walked over to the bank today, and made sure that these were the balances, and this sheet right here is the one that they gave me, showing that the available money is $77,435. So, it's time to talk about what we're gonna do with this money, because if we continue to just save it, then we will get less money from the county, and we will get less money from the DOT. From what I can see from board meetings in the past, and the way, Renee was running the company, she was taking the levy money and splitting it 60-40. She was putting 40% into transit and 60% into nutrition. And so she was juggling it that way. We made the decision not to do anything, and I mean, I could have come up and said, no, here's 6 months, we need to look at this. I just figured it was just sitting there and it was no big deal, until I found out that when I get ready to do my reports before August, if that money isn't being used, then they're going to say, hey, she didn't use it as bad as she said she did. And truthfully, we do need it. So, I need to know what the board feels we should do about a split that's equitable, because this is both transit and nutrition money coming in from the county. And we could continue at the 60-40 split, that's how we've gone on in the past. But to let you know, the DOT grants and funds that we get cover our transit. So it's the nutrition part that we are scrambling to try and find more money with less people coming in. And so whether we want to put all of it into nutrition, or however we want to do it, it has to be voted on, has to be applied to my cost analysis, and then you can put money in bank accounts. But I will tell you that nutrition is losing money because the numbers are not there and food costs are high. And so it goes even confusion.
So if we put it all into nutrition, those deals we come back and say, how come we didn't use that a year?
That money, we circumvented that by cashing out the CD, so that more than covers any needs that I have for the bus and stuff. That's not part of what I'm talking about here, because if you look on that other little sheet that you guys have that hopefully gave you all, it looks like a bank statement on the front page.
Oh, that's the
Credit union, the credit union, yeah.
okay.
Well, no, that's sort of benefit. Yeah. Oh, did I? Yeah, it's this one right here. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's a single page.
Okay, so that shows you on the top right-hand side, the levy money at 70, they say 71, but we really have, as of now, 77. And then the next line down is the reward plus savings, and that's where we've been putting excess money that comes in from people donating to us, and that's where we also put the cashed out CD. And so that was, it was set aside to purchase the bus, and we only need 15,000 to purchase the bus, and so the rest that we had decided at that time would go back into a CD after we had used it. So we're sitting okay in the transit side. Now, when they first started getting levy money, they went over to FCCU and they started this checking account for the levy money. They didn't have all of transit there. So since we took over, we created FCCU being the transit fund and Choice Bank being the nutrition fund, so that we could keep everything separate. And we just left the levy money sitting there.
That's what we do, but you can figure out where we are.
Right. Well, and we didn't want to touch it because it wasn't the CD.
That's we were all saying,
Yeah. Going on here, yes.
now we know we need to do the nutrition.
Yeah, we need to, put some of this money, well, we need to actually put it in both, so that we show that this levy is being used as it was, originally rewarded for, because
we did even like a 90-10, 90% nutrition, 10%, it's still what we paid for.
It would not hurt it, but what I would like to see is if we vote on that every time we get money into the levy, I take out 5% and leave it there, and the rest of it gets split 90-10. Okay, or whatever we decide on, for them, 80-20 would be good. We just have to have it so that when I do up the cost allocation report, that is our Bible from that point on for the DOT. And I have to list how we split up money and everything that touches the DOT.
So for transit, we're looking at maybe in 4 years, we'd have to do a van or something like that again.
Yeah.
So we,
No, next year.
well, next year, but then, you know,
Yeah.
but we have that money for the van for next year,
Yes.
right? So we're looking at then maybe another 2 years, maybe, and
For the
then
bus,
for the bus
yeah,
or
that's
or
the one.
something like that. So we want to make sure we have some money to put aside for that in about 4 years. So, you know, it's 10% of the millage levy going to get us there, or
Well, that, I don't know if that will get us there, but, that second account called the Rewards Plus has been sitting there for a very long time, but we all thought that we just added, what was it, 42,000 or something like that to it, out of the CD. So, that will continue to grow, even, you know, as we don't use all of the money that was set aside for it. And truthfully, I need to have money in that account so that I can show that we can do matching funds on these grants. And that's where the game of planning is all that comes into effect. But,
so would it at 80-20 with 80 to nutrition and 20 to transit be comfortable for you?
for me, yes.
That would be a comfortable split for you?
Mhm.
And the transit, the 20% transit, I would say, would it pay for transit,
It could just stay right there and let
as
somebody.
long as they know that it's.
Yeah,
it's
because we
good
can
for-
call it for matching funds and stuff. Because it is actually in the transit. Yeah.
So we're gonna motion for that transit.
Make the motion that, the levy money be split 80% to nutrition, 20% to transit.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Both of them.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Opposed?
So that takes care of some of the finances. One of the things I've noticed is that as we do the grants for the DOT, they tell us about all the grants. I mean, they send me emails and say, have you gotten the paperwork in here? But with nutrition, we have to go out and find grants for us to do. And, we can't use it for general operating expenses, so we have to use it for food costs and running to town to buy groceries or any of those types of things. It has to be used for, you know, when you use products, and, yeah, it's not operational. So that makes it more difficult in finding places that will allow us to do both. They're out there, I keep hearing about it, but, that's one of the things we'll be discussing, in, April on Tuesday, how we go about finding all these grants that are getting out there. So, anyway, just kind of boost it right now. But Stacy is definitely doing the food cost analysis and stuff, and trimming wherever she can, and I gotta give it kudos. And to the point of even, you go to county shop, so, wherever we can get the best prices, that's what we're gonna do.
when it comes down to that, I still don't know this one, but
Oh, we don't anymore. We haven't in a long time. It's been a, we just, that's it. We don't do it. So, it's unfortunate.
yeah.
All right. Your report?
So, meal report. This is our 6 months at a glance. Right now, we're in the 4th month of April. And as you can see, this is the total of money coming in across the bottom of April 26. And it shows the donations that people have made. It shows how much we made under what's called a C1 category and a C2 category. So in other words, people coming into the building and eating are C1, and everything else we do is C2. Of that, our C1 people, we pull in $7.58 a meal, and on the C2s, it's $8.85 a meal. So if you take those totals, we really brought in for the month of April, and this is on paper, this is not deposits made in or during that month, this is what was brought in, and the deposits were made shortly thereafter, or whatever, this is the number. So we only brought in $9,657. We had a good month in February, but it was pretty cold and people wanted to move.
Questions on the meal report? And you can't suggest it.
Actually, no, we suggest it. When people come in and stuff, we say it's a suggested price. If they've gone through the paperwork and everything to, be part of the allocated funds, we tell them that it's a suggested donation of $5. However, we would rather take anything, and if they can't, we would welcome them in. So, they at least know about it.
So what is the percentage of people that have the,
I would say 1/5 of all of our people will pay.
and no, I mean, are part of the program? That doesn't pay.
You may not follow that, sorry.
Well, they can do the paperwork, you can have.
Oh, yes, if you don't want to do it, you still want to come here and have a meal, it's $11. If you bring a guest in, it's $11. If somebody off the street just wants to come in and eat with us, $11. So,
And $11.
you know, and we have, and I can show it on this, but this is just totally showing you. Part of those meal numbers include people that do come in and pay the $11 in both locations, but they're very few. I would say, I think it was maybe 6 or 7 people out of 100 came in.
All right. Questions? No?
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so as I explained last time, the dead miles and dead hours are the miles that we pay or do from this building when they get in the bus to the very first customer. That's how many miles we are clocking in during these times. And we don't get paid from the DOT for that. However, we do, part of the grant money that we apply for, we apply for state aid at the same time we're doing the DOT grants. And they help cover that money. So we are sitting okay, we're not sitting fantastic, but we're sitting okay.
I would say the dead transit hours have gone way down.
Yes, yes, they have.
since we first got on.
Yeah.
On board.
Mm-hmm.
No, if there, if this kid can go in the, you know, to a, what do you call it, miles, or?
Actually, unless we apply to do that with the DOT, we cannot take in transit food. Now, if the person wants to, on their way back home, swing by here and pick up food as part of their transit drive, they can come in and pick up their food, and we can drive them home with the nutrition in it. But if we have somebody that says, I want 20 meals and everybody, we have to work it into a day that, one of us can drive for the everyone to do it. If Dave is taking home one of our riders and is up in Pennyville, he will occasionally take the meal right to the location, but that's it. We try to adhere to the rules, unfortunately.
Yes, we do run into this.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It is. What else can we tell you about? Oh, it's never been bad. They don't see us succeed, but they didn't like what was going on in the past, and we had to come down hard.
So, you know, I think that every driver get payments that were due.
Maybe they get them out, yeah. I think our last one will be in June.
So then we should get that too.
Yes, it will.
So that's what, $6,000.
Well, actually, the last check I got from them was $9,000, and part of that was the, state aid money, because they can't take things. They can only take the transit money, DOT money. And so we actually got a check, and then they also took their $6,000 out, so it's about, anywhere from 11 to maybe 15,000 that we could possibly bring in.
No, it makes that.
Oh, seriously, yeah, I can hardly wait till we get it paid off.
Any other questions with DOT? Senior services report, new happenings.
So, starting next Monday, every Monday of the week, we are now going to be doing shared yoga. And we're getting a good response, not just from the people that come in here, but also the community, and it is open to the community. So, we actually had people show up last Monday, to start sharing yoga. So, anyway, I'm assuming we're going to have a good turnout. And they're excited about this. And then the other thing that we are doing is we are now adding, twice a month from the health department, foot care. So people can come in, set up a scheduled time, get on the schedule before Wednesday, and we will do foot care. So those are the new happenings right now. And our lunch and learns that we do are very well, successful in the fact that the people really enjoy what's going on, and they have a lot of great interaction. So I think that we're hitting the right number right there, and providing some stuff that people will want to come to.
Now we're taking.
Yes, we're hoping for that also. 11 o'clock, yeah. Get them right for lunch, yes. Oh, you need to have lunch or something? We don't have a driver for us, or, yeah, we still can. Yeah, that is a big problem for us. I would love to transport people.
But that would be covered under DOT too.
Yes.
As long as you're hauling people.
That's right, we're hauling people. Okay, so then, old business. These are a couple of the things, that last thing that I just sent out to you guys, and gave out to you guys. This was the email from Ryan, and he broke down everything that they want to see me do. And, some of these, it's gonna require work to get it done. The main thing is the cost allocation, because that is the Bible to everything that we all these items and stuff here, some of them are covered in our books already, they just need to be, a little more defined, a little more specific to, I guess the word today, I should say. But, covering all of this, there's nothing to change. So, I'm going to present you with this document. And this is what we signed last year. And so really, not much has changed on it other than, some wording that they want to change to define things, and they told me exactly what they wanted. So I put that in there. We have all the paperwork that needs to go in here. Let's see. I think Greg, you're the only one that's going to sign it, but it does have to be voted in and accepted. And if anybody wants me to give them a copy, I will email it to you. Yeah, I think. Yes, yeah, I think you just sign on this. Okay, so, I would just initial it or sign it or something. But if anybody wants to read this before we vote on it, that's fine. No takers? And like I said, any of these things that we finalize, I can email them to you in a PDF. Yes, this is called the Title VI program, whatever's on the title of that.
Update the Title VI complaint form.
Yes, so we changed the complaint form. I also now have it in Spanish and English on the website. So that's a plus, and I will get a copy put into this also in Spanish.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about having the Spanish.
Yeah.
At least some forms available in Spanish.
Yeah. And really quickly, all I have to do is type it in and put North Dakota on it, and they send me one in Spanish. So, I didn't realize it was gonna be 11 minutes.
Yeah, because sometimes they say that, sometimes if you give them a document that is the wrong language, they understand. Nobody's trying to explain it.
Okay, so as you guys are looking at that, let's just carry on with the other stuff that we were talking about. The cost allocation is going to be a biggie, and I actually have a class that I'll be going to, and it's 3 hours long talking about this. And so I really don't want to take the time right now to work on it until I actually know what they want us to do. My head is in so all this time. Our transit policies need a complete overhaul, and the employee policies and updates, what they want to see from me is they don't mind if all the employees are under one headship of the council. But what they do want to see is, once I talk about transit, that it's really defined, this is for the transit people in that policy. There are things that the DOT requires in that. And so, we'll probably do it that way, just for convenience and stuff, but we will have a definite transit section in the policy.
Any more questions with that? You good?
Okay. I let the DOT compliance policy recommendations, that's what this is right here, I gave them, so the email, those, and we still have to do. And then, Brett and I will be meeting with Renee Kipp to go over the 2024-2025 financial audit. We're doing that on Tuesday the 2nd. And, hopefully, it'll go well. motels that have higher head space on them and stuff, and, but not quite of us.
You doing it up front?
Hmm?
You doing it up front?
From Harlow's. Okay. So we recently had a little snafu go on. 4 months ago, I booked a date in June for a bridal shower up in Putty. Except the senior club up there also booked that same date for a couple days. And so anyway, we kind of did a little round-around type thing. I referred them back to the contract that they signed stating that all usage of the building has to come to us up here so that we can get it on the calendars. We are the renters. They have no other renters. We are the only people using that building, and so we need to go through us. So anyway, I think that has been solved. Our bride and mother went ahead and scheduled it at the church. Took the graciously out. I was very thankful of that. And those holidays will be using everything this year. So hopefully we will not have that little problem here. So now, the one thing that's not on there, about 4 days ago, I got a thing from the DOT saying you have until June 30th to get in this grant. But it's a facility grant, and it's a facility only for the transit side. And what they're talking about is a facility for your vehicle. And they're putting out a grant, a very generous grant, that if you want to build a brand new one, if you want to build a whole center for it, it's a lot of money grant. But I would like to talk to you guys about a thought that I've had, and that is having the rest of the pad in the back concreted and just a barn shed to put our buses and our vans in. If we could pull that off with a full grant, it would be awesome. We will have to pull matching funds, and they're at 14%. Yeah, we have to come up with 14% of it. So I had actually already put out 3 bids to people, or asked for bids. And one of them's already come in and measured, the other one's going to be in on Monday. So I have to pull it all together before the 30th and get that done. Dave's going to help me with that. And if you guys think it's a worthy enough cause, then we will do it and pursue it. It gets so muddy back there, and then the snow just goes everywhere with the buses and that big mud. So it would be a very good thing to build up the value of the building itself. We'd be helping the city out or the county out. But it's a needed, and we've got the money out there, we want to give it to somebody. And so, maybe we should tackle it.
So, it would go on that side of the building, and then you,
Yeah, it would go clear out to the road where they didn't do the concrete going over. They only did to the back of the building, going out to the road on this side. So it would go from that spot clear across to our property line over here on this side. And then back to where, I think it's 8 feet from the alley.
No, you have to get permission from the,
I will be talking to the county on the next Friday.
and then still on that view?
I have to have it in by the 30th of June.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
When you said 30, I thought you said.
Not today, no. No, we're not pushing it through that fast.
I was like, whoa. Okay. Which one?
Talk to food pantry voters. I think, yeah,
No, I have not.
okay, no,
I am talking to the county about it.
all right.
So it's gonna be enclosed? It'll be enclosed, but in a very, basic way, no insulation or anything. You just need something to keep the snow, the rain and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. I call it a whole shed myself. Huh? It's gonna be over on this end, Oh, yeah, you would come in from that way. I've got it situated so that you actually drive in from over here and drive straight into the shed, okay? You don't have to go to the alley and turn a quick turn. It's really convenient. And then, we will also put in, because it's part of the facility, to replace this back door that we have, that the county's been looking at for a very long time, and so we'll put it on the emergency facility.
What's the phone number?
Yeah. The guy that measured the buses and stuff, to see what all we wanted in there. Yeah, we're thinking about just one of those metal pull bond type things, or I call it a pull bond, but it's a frame bond. Something to get it out of the elements. It'll have a garage door on it, you know, and he's gonna hook it up to the electricity so they can, not have to do it manually. But, I don't know how far to push with the DOT for this grant, so. The city? Don't know. I have no clue.
But I specifically want to one form, right?
Yes. It's definitely specifically to facilitate where our vehicles are. Unless you wanna build a whole brand new facility for it, with offices and everything, and then you've gotta have like millions of dollars in your savings. So, I don't know that. I can dream.
I think we have to decide then who owns, you put up a note that who owns it
The
then,
county will own it. I can tell you right now.
the county will own
Yeah,
it.
that's why when I go to the meeting, I say, 18-14%. It's improving the building, it's improving our ground, you know? And, Dave said there is, gambling funds out there that we can tap for the concrete too to help offset that also. So, I just feel like, you know, the biggest complaint for both us and the food pantry is parking out there and walking through mud. Yeah, even trying to get to the garbage cans, you know, it's just muddy. And then it's also, you know, kind of smelling. And if they're saying that it's for use of a facility for the buses and us parking there, then I'm ready to at least try. Yeah, but I need to talk to the county first, I need to, probably, as you say, talk to the city, because it's having a building permit, but I think the contractors know that too, so. But if that sounds like something you want me to pursue, I will pursue it. It's a bigger project than just getting images and stuff and things like that.
Always figure out.
Yeah. Hopefully all three of these guys will come with kids. They'll work with them. So really, that's all I have in a nutshell for everybody. Around the block there.
Questions on this then? Fair County Public Land Policy? Do you have any questions, you need a motion to do it, so.
I make a motion to, approve the
Title 4 and non-discrimination policy.
There you go. Thank you.
I can read it for you. Dale second. Terry second. All in favor? Opposed?
No, sign on the one where I signed, I said not to. It's like a purchase thing. Something. Oh, it's right on top.
No, here it is.
Oh, yeah, just sign on the wrong one. President Nixon's, yeah. And the date. And so what we're voting on is the Title 3 or Title 6 policy. Transit policy. And then as soon as, I get it on Monday, and we will
was very specific that some of these policies had to be approved by the board. There was, we had a lot of policies, but they were not, they couldn't have decided they were approved by the board.
Okay, anybody have anything else they want to say?
You had a date.
Next meeting, we usually try the third Thursday, the 18th, I'm ready. Eighteenth.
We can do that now.
Then we go to the 25th.
Okay,
Thursday, the 25th. What time?
the 25th. Four o'clock again? Yeah, I like 4 o'clock again.
I don't get to, no, I don't